Recently, I've come to the conclusion that we're a society obsessed with labels. While language may be a way for one to express themselves, it may also be limiting for another person because they're forced to fit into a certain model. Not only that, but they're also forced to bear the brunt of the associations that come together with these labels. Now, I'm sure all of us remember the time that we had to choose the path that we want to take in our future. For me, this was probably the most daunting task in my life. I had to struggle with picking out a major when so many fields seemed so fascinating. I remember coming home every day with a different major in mind. One day I wanted to study computer science, another day I wanted to do sociology, and a completely different part of me wanted to study business. The hardest part for me in this was trying to choose because how could I choose when I was faced with so many options? When I turned to my family members for some help, what I found is that they tended to associate different meanings to certain labels. A computer science degree translated to a stable source of good income, but a sociology degree was dismissed as a useless degree with limited job prospects, even though they're both very interesting fields with different dimensions. Then come the labels associated with jobs. Tell a person you're working as a surgeon, and you'll see them beaming with approval. But then tell them you're working as a hospital cleaner, and you'll see disapproving looks, glances, stares, even though they're both very crucial to the healthcare industry. Some people even exhibit it in behavior, thinking that those working in undesirable jobs are beneath them and they somehow have the upper hand. Okay, so now perhaps we believe that a surgeon is more hardworking than a hospital cleaner. But what we forget to acknowledge is that the surgeon might have had more money to be able to get through medical school easier than the hospital cleaner, who might have had two jobs and are constantly trying to feed their children at the same time. When we label somebody, we're forgetting that they're beyond that label and we fail to see the complete picture of who they are. Not only that, we're classifying them into stereotypes of how they should act and behave, and they tend to believe that that's all they're capable of. An interesting research from Stanford has shown that negative stereotyping, even the slightest clues, can lead people to act worse and harm their prospects for success. A classic study has demonstrated this, where Rosenthal and Jacobson labeled some students in a class as academic bloomers and in the top 20% of the class. But in fact, they were randomly selected. After a year, the academic bloomer students observed a 10 to 15 point increase in IQ compared to the rest of their schoolmates because unconscious the teachers, they had been giving extra attention to those students in the top 20%, and so the academic bloomers eventually outperformed the rest. Isn't that interesting to see that randomly selected students labeled as academic bloomers outperformed their schoolmates because the teachers had been unconsciously giving extra attention to them. And this cycle is actually known as self-fulfilling prophecy, where other people's beliefs and actions towards us influence our own beliefs about ourselves, as well as our action towards others. In the example of the study, the teachers believed that the students had more academic potential, which affected their actions towards their students as they unconsciously gave them extra work or motivated them during class. These labels that we put on people and the kinds of things that we associate with these labels have a far-reaching impact on us and our society. These labels can make or break us as humans, as society, and even the world. While labels are definitely useful in our society to identify the world around us, it is important that we check our associations with these labels. After all, each of us hold various labels in our daily lives, and these labels change according to each person. In my case, I'm a daughter to my parents, a student to my teachers, a friend to my friends, and so much more. I'm sure all of us have so many labels that one single label cannot be the definition of who we are because we're all complex human beings with different minds and different identities. Therefore, it is important to erase our black and white thinking and start seeing people for who they really are, a multitude of dimensions, roles, and backgrounds. Then we can start to appreciate the diversity that our world has to offer. Thank you.